The House Budget Committee is meeting this morning to finalize the GOP's budget reconciliation bill. Key issues remain among lawmakers, including major cuts to Medicaid and state and local tax deductions. CBS News congressional correspondent Nikole Killion is speaking with Representative Steve Scalise right now. Let's jump in and listen.
Look, we're all in agreement on the reforms we want to make. We want to have work requirements. We want to phase out a lot of these green subsidies. How quickly can you get it done? And it's not as quickly as saying you just turn it off tomorrow. Some things the administration does have to actually create a process to implement it, and we want to make sure that the Trump administration has the time they need while pushing them as fast as possible. So those are the conversations we're having, and we're making a lot of progress.
Have you spoken to the president at all?
Do you expect the president to weigh in?
The president's been following all this very closely. I know he's coming back from a foreign trip, so he's going to be actively engaged, as he has the whole way through this process.
Do you want the committee to work today?
I'd like the committee to keep doing its work, and they are. I'm glad they started today. I know there were some questions yesterday of, the committee might be canceled. We didn't want that to happen, and they met. And I appreciate Chairman Arrington's aggressive approach, too. Chairman Arrington wants to keep this bill moving. There's going to be work to be done in the Rules Committee. We already knew that. Issues like SALT are still going to be worked through the weekend. We're having conversations as we go through the weekend to resolve SALT. That's going to be addressed in the Rules Committee. So there were already some items that we were going to take up when Rules meets. These are a couple of additional items, just reworking the timelines of implementation. But that's Rules, that's not Budget. Budget doesn't have that ability to make any changes to the bill. They're pulling it all together.
So you still feel confident you can get this done by Memorial Day?
Right here.
Do you expect this to require the president to weigh in order to get this across the finish line?
Well, there are some questions that the Trump administration is going to be getting us answers back on. We'd sent some things to them, some questions that our members have on implementation by the Trump administration. So they're going to be weighing back in on that. Will the president himself directly weigh in? Not necessarily on all of these. I mean, he's following all of this. He's been giving us a lot of help along the way when we've had direct questions that he needed to answer. Some of these are things that some different people in the Trump administration need to answer because they're going to be implementing those pieces within different departments of the Trump administration.
Well, it seems he's already weighed in this morning in a Truth Social post saying some of your members shouldn't be grandstanding. Do you agree?
Look, President Trump wants to get this bill moved through the process as quickly as possible to make sure it gets on his desk in July. So do we. We would like to have that process move even quicker if it's possible, but we want to make sure we're moving it through the House on our timeline that we've kept, and that means having it pass the full House next week, which means we've still got a few more steps to go. We all know what those steps are. We all know the remaining work we have to get done, and we're in the process of doing that work right now.
Ralph said he's still waiting for you guys to make some commitments to him to vote for this.
Yeah.
And that you need to recess this.
When did he make that comment to you?
Just a few minutes ago.
I just walked out of a meeting with him a few minutes ago as well. We're working on some questions that Ralph and others have, and we're going to be getting them answers as soon as we get them back from the Trump administration. His questions were the same as Chip's and a few others, and they're very specific questions, valid questions. We're working on getting those answers right now.
He says they need to recess to make that happen.
They're still working through their process. We're still working through our process. A little bit more work to do. I've got to go right now because I got.
Are you concerned about the Senate changing this package even after
We want to get it to the Senate so they have the ability to start their work.
Do the second reconciliation.
Okay. So what you have been listening to, this is Nikole Killion from Capitol Hill. A little bit of chaos this morning. Hopefully you can see me, but we are outside of the House Budget Committee. That was the Majority Leader Steve Scalise, who just wrapped up a gaggle with reporters because the House Budget Committee is right in these doors behind me, and they are essentially assembling this big, beautiful bill that the president wants to see Congress approve. And so we have watched over several weeks now these various committees mark up their respective portions. Now the Budget Committee is tying everything together. But there are some members inside that room who have suggested they may vote against this package. Members like Congressman Ralph Norman, who you heard the Majority Leader reference there. Norman has walked in and out of this meeting along with Congressman Chip Roy, another conservative, Congressman Andrew Clyde, right before this markup got underway, suggesting that the panel should recess because, again, they continue to have concerns. Their main issue is that they believe these spending cuts simply don't go far enough. And so you heard the Majority Leader there say, look, we are working with them. We are trying to negotiate and meet their needs. But ultimately, the Majority Leader would like to see this bill come out of committee. And of course, the president now weighing in on this as well, urging Republicans to unite.
That's right. Nikole Killion giving us all the latest information up to the second, getting some questions in there to Steve Scalise and giving us a sense of why this hasn't passed yet, the pressure from President Trump and the efforts by House Republicans to finish the work. Nikole Killion with the latest for us. Thank you so much.